And hello, tell by showing students. I'm going to be showing you today a couple of screens. One deals with downloading free music, uncopyrighted music at the audio library of YouTube. And the second screen will concern how to set up and operate Audacity, which is an open source and free audio editor. So first of all, here we are at the interface of the free library at YouTube. And you'll notice that the songs are organized according to genre. There are many different kinds of songs here. I have chosen an inspirational genre, and I chose a song that has a duration of 4 minutes and 21 seconds because most of the videos that I make are around 4 minutes, so this music would stretch the length of that video. Some of them are quite long. This is 11 minutes and 12 seconds and 17 minutes and 31 seconds and so on. So duration is one of your concerns, and also the kind of music it is. So let's go down here to the Song of Sadhana, and if I click on it, it will begin to play, I think. So you can play a sample of the music that way, and if you like what you're hearing, you don't need to listen through the whole thing. You can stop it over here, and you go over here to the download arrow and click download, and notice that it's now downloading, and it has just finished. It's a short download, 4 minutes and 21 seconds. I lift that over and put it on my desktop, and now I have half of what I need to go to SoundSlides to make my show. So that concludes this brief instruction, and next on to Audacity. And here we are in Audacity. It's a free sound editor, and very easy to use. I'm going to just show you a few features today, only the ones necessary that you're liable to use for preparing a soundtrack for SoundSlides. So when you open Audacity, you don't see any tracks yet. You just see this gray screen, and you have to add some tracks by going up here to the top to Tracks, hover over Add New, and you can either put a mono or a stereo track in. I generally work in stereo. So here are the two channels for the track, and let me show you some buttons up top here that are important. This is your microphone button, and you can increase the volume of your microphone if you wish by clicking on this icon, and this is the speaker icon, which governs the amount of output to your file, volume output to your file. And so let's add some tracks here, or add some music to the tracks, and go over here to the icon of the MP3 file that we downloaded from the free library at YouTube. If we right click on that, let's see, and select Open With, and Audacity happens to come up in the menu because I have used Audacity before. Perhaps it won't come up in your menu if you haven't used Audacity before, but you can go down here to the Choose Another App. If you click on that, left click on that, you can browse through your files and select Audacity where it is on your computer. I'm going to go up here and left click on Audacity, and it will open that MP3 file on the stereo track that I have already prepared. Now notice that the author of this track has tapered the sound going in. This is the beginning of it, and this is the end of it. So the music comes in gently and ends gently, and you can tell that by the taper of the design here. So let's listen to that a minute. So you want to choose music that is not going to overwhelm your narration. I like this piece because it's nice and calm and slow. It's about the rhythm that you would want to display images in a leisurely fashion. I'll stop it right there. If you have some music and would like to gently move into it or gently move out of it, you would use fade in and fade out commands. And how do you use those? You select a portion that you want to fade in. You go up to Effects and you select Fade In. Now watch what happens visually. It narrows it. Okay? And Fade Out is the same on the other end. Go up to Effects again and select Fade Out this time. Alright? Now if you go up to Edit, you can do you can backtrack. You can undo what you just did. So I'm going to undo, just for a demonstration, just undo my fade out. And I think you have only one undo in this program. Let me see. No, you can undo the fade in. So I'm going to do that, undo fade in. And now we're returned to the author's choice, which is fine. If you feel that your music is a bit too loud, that it might be overwhelming the narration, you can go over here to the volume sliders. The bottom one, by the way, is for the balance between the left speaker and the right speaker. See the L for left and R for the right. And so you could increase the volume on the left by sliding to the left, or vice versa. By sliding to the right would increase volume at the right speaker. But I leave it right straight in the middle because my speakers are set up okay. But if I want to decrease the volume of the sound of both tracks, I would make this slider go to the left towards the minus sign. I'm going to take it about halfway down. There we go. And I return the playhead to 0, and let's see how much softer it is. I think maybe it could be just a little bit louder, so I'm going to stop it there and advance that slider just a bit more. Let's try it there. That sounds about right. Okay, I'll stop it there now. I have suggested that you start with music because you might want to narrate at a rate that is concordant with the music or in tune with the beat of the music. So lay down your music first and then do your narration. Go up to tracks for your second step. Add new. Again, add new stereo track. These are empty tracks so far. Now, how do we put narration down here? Well, you can narrate with your cell phone, generating an MP3 file, and then you might email that MP3 file to yourself, and that way get it to your computer. But the easiest thing is to do your narration right here in Audacity. And you do that by hitting this record button up here. That's a voiceover button. So I'm going to return the playhead back to 0. And then I'm going to lay down some speech in this area right here. And so I'll start. So I'm demonstrating now the voiceover feature in Audacity. And it's very convenient. In fact, you can have your sound slides, what they call them, storyboard. You can have your sound slides storyboard ready, and you can actually make your narration as you see those slides playing out. Or if you have scripted it, if you've written your script and you're reading from a paper, you can read at this point into a microphone, and it will lay down the words in Audacity. You see the visual forming of them right now as the playhead moves to the right. I'm going to stop it right now. Okay. So now notice that, returning first to the beginning, notice that when the playhead moves in time to the right, it plays whatever is underneath of it. So it plays, in this case, music, and it plays the narration. If you had more tracks, which you can certainly lay in, for instance, if you had sound effects like bird calls or whatever, it would play them too. As long when it goes over some sound, it plays it. So so how do you merge all of that into one file? That's what you want. You want to make one MP3 file from everything that's in Audacity. How do you do that? Well, first of all, I'm going to show you how to cut out some area of the soundtrack and add some silence. I think both things are useful to you. So let's put the playhead right here at the end of the narration, and I'm going to select everything after that, and I'm going to hit the delete button. Now the music coincides pretty much with the narration in terms of duration, but I want that the beginning is tapered by the author, but notice this mid portion is not tapered. I'd like to taper it. So you select just the music track like so. Oops. Remember how to do that. Go up to Effects and select Fade Out. Now it's tapered on fading out, and he's got his own fade in. So let's see what that sounds like going out. You can place your playhead right there. Scripted it. If you've written your script and are reading from a paper, you can read at this point into a microphone, and it will lay down the words in Audacity. You see the visual forming of them right now as the playhead moves to the right. I'm going to stop it right now. Okay, so it sounds pretty good, except I think maybe I want to make the narration a little louder. The music is a good volume. I don't want to cut it back anymore, but I'm going to make the narration louder. This is the narration track here, and these are the volume controls of the narration track. So I'm going to slide the slider up a little bit to make the narration a little louder. Let's see what that sounds like. You can read at this point into a microphone, and a little too loud. So let's back it off a little bit. You have scripted it. If you've written your script and are reading from a paper, you can read at this point into a microphone, and it will lay down the words in Audacity. You see the visual forming of them right now as the playhead moves to the right. I'm going to stop it right now. Okay, that sounds pretty good. In a moment I'll show you how to export what we've worked on as an MP3 file. But first of all, I want to show you how to add some silence, because that's very useful in advancing a portion of the sound. Unfortunately, you can't simply hover and drag and drop portions in Audacity. At least I haven't discovered how one would do that. But you can add silence, which moves everything on the track. So I'm going to return the playhead back to the beginning. And what if we wanted to move this much towards the right side of the timeline? Perhaps to add something in before it. That might be one possibility. So we would go up here to Generate and add silence. And this little window shows the settings for the duration of that silence. I'm just going to let it be on the default. And click OK. And there you see it has added silence. We know there's silence because there's no visual display of any sound there. And I'll show you how that sounds. It doesn't sound. Board ready, And you can actually make your narration as you see those slides playing out. Or if you have scripted it, if you've written your script and you're reading from a paper, you can read at this point into a microphone, and it will lay down the words in Audacity. You see the visual. Now notice what I did. I added some silence at the beginning of the music clip so that the music didn't start sounding until that silence had ended. So you can use the silence to space your inputs that way. And of course you can remove silence the same way you would remove sound, by making an envelope and hitting the delete button. And that reduces the silence. Okay. Now, to export this whole thing, let's first of all, let's return it back to the beginning of what we had. Okay. Now, let's render all of this as a MP3 file. We do that by going up here to File and Export as an MP3. And we're going to save it on the desktop. It says a file named blah 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 already exists. So yes, I want to replace it. Okay. Your tracks will be mixed down and exported as one stereo file. That's what we want. Click yes. Okay. That brings up this screen, which is generally used by musicians, giving them chances to put in their names and the track title, album title, so on. But we're not using that this time, so we'll just leave all that blank, and we click OK. And now it's rendering it down to an MP3 file. And let me collapse this window and that one. And here is, let's see. Yeah, here it is. MP3 file. So now we have what we need to go into sound slides. We have a soundtrack, and if you have prepared a folder of images beforehand and have edited them nicely and have are ready to organize them in a storybook fashion, you're ready to go into sound slides. That's the last lesson on this coming Thursday, and so I will see you then.